2024 BWR San Diego Bike Check. You're wondering why I'm showing a road bike. Well, that's what I'm going to try this year. I've done, I think, 9 BWR San Diegos. I live locally, so it's kind of a no-brainer event for me. Always ridden a cross bike or a gravel bike, usually with big tires. My gravel bike actually has a suspension fork, and I run 45s on it, so it's quite a bit more dirt focused. But this year's BWR has cut out a lot of the gnarly dirt sectors, and it's mostly road, and all the important parts are on the road. So I'm going to try something different, just mixing it up. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I'm going to try it. So this is a current generation S5, which has clearance for 34s. I'm running 32 GP5000 all seasons, and if you're familiar with the GP5000, the STR, it's a really fast road tire. People even race on them. It's normally what I use on my race bike, this bike. But the all season is a little bit heavier. It uses the same rubber compound, but a little bit heavier casing, so it's more puncture resistant. And most of the puncture resistance is actually in the sidewalls of the all season version, but it's the same sticky rubber compound. These tolerate really low air pressures. These wheels are my gravel wheels. They're 20, I think 25 internal. So you can see they line up really well with the 32, nice square kind of profile there. Small rotors, 140 rotors like I normally run, and I adapted something here. These are my normal road cranks, so 172.5 road cranks. I normally have a 5236 Dura Ace rings on here, but I had these old black ink rings, I think are absolute black rings. These are 4630 oval. So we've got some super crazy low gears on it. If you're familiar with BWR San Diego, the final climb is a really short, steep road climb. It's only about probably a third or a quarter mile long, but it averages something like 12%. It's a real brute, and it comes at the very end of the event. And this is a 105 cassette. I normally run the 1134 Dura Ace cassette, which is really light. This is an all-steel 105 cassette. It's an 1136, so my low gear is a 3036, which is crazy, crazy low. Feels really weird riding this bike with this low gearing on it, but it'll allow me to stay seated and spin up that last climb. Still a Dura Ace derailleur. Shimano, as usual, is a couple years behind the times. They don't have a 12-speed Di2 GRX derailleur yet. I wish they did, because I could use the clutch. I'm not going to have a clutch tomorrow, so that's going to be a bit of an issue. I've got to pay attention to making sure I keep my chain on. The nice thing if I do throw the chain, having a front derailleur, I can always basically steer it back on by just shifting the front. I do have a Fournier chain guide in the front. Using my mountain bike race pedals. These are Egg Beater Tie 11s, so it's a really, really light pedal. These are actually lighter than my Dura Ace road pedals, the carbon road pedals. These cages are Arundel Bandos. I normally race with the light carbon cage on the road bike, but they have these little rubber bands on them, and these are super. I mean, you're not going to kick a bottle out. And you notice I've got my Waffle 30s in here, so I plan on doing the race with no stops. 2 bottles. I'll have powder in here with no water in them, and then I'll have my Oozway 2-liter bladder, which will be full. So I'll start the race early in the race when you can't really reach down to take drinks quite as often, because you're kind of in a pack, and there's a lot of dirt sectors at the very beginning of the race, so I can just basically drink out of the Oozway, and then when it starts running down at the later aid stations, I can throw water in these. But these bottles are about 1.5 pounds a piece when they're full, so that's 3 pounds of weight I'd rather not keep on the bike. So these will just have a little splash of water to mix the powder, and I use Scratch super high carb wax chain, Silca wax. What else did I do? That's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty much my road setup. Don't know how it's going to work. We are going to find out tomorrow. See you there.